The Ten Commandments, a story that echoes through the ages, filled with faith, liberation, and divine wonders. In 1956, a constellation of Hollywood stars brought this epic saga to the screen. We followed Charlton Heston's Moses on his journey, defied tyranny with Yul Brynner's Rameses, and felt the earth shake with the power of the divine. Now, let's delve into the lives of these legendary actors and explore the enduring legacy of the Ten Commandments. So, smash that subscribe button and get ready to be transported back in time on a whirlwind adventure. Charlton Heston as Moses. Born into centuries of Hebrew servitude, Moses arrived as a beacon of hope, prophesied to liberate his people. Fearing this destiny, the tyrannical pharaoh Rameses III decreed the death of all newborn Hebrew boys. To protect her child, Moses' mother, Yochabel, crafted a basket of reeds and entrusted it to the Nile's current. After the war, Charlton Heston and his wife built a life in New York's gritty Hell's Kitchen, initially working as artists' models. Aspiring for theatrical success, they ventured south to manage a playhouse in North Carolina, earning a modest weekly wage. Back in New York, Heston landed a supporting role on Broadway in a revival of Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra. He further honed his craft on television, appearing in acclaimed dramas like CBS's Studio One. Heston graced the stages of the Los Angeles Music Center, tackling iconic characters like Sherlock Holmes. He even donned ape makeup for a blink-and-you'll-miss-it appearance in Tim Burton's reimagining of Planet of the Apes. His final film role involved portraying a notorious historical figure. Beyond acting, Heston's commanding voice found a new purpose as a film narrator, adding gravitas to movies like Armageddon and Disney's Hercules. In a heartbreaking turn of events, Heston passed away in 2008 at his California home surrounded by loved ones. He was 84 years old. Though the official cause of death remained a private matter, media reports later attributed it to pneumonia. Yvonne de Carlo as Sephora. Sephora, a shepherdess from Midian, was the eldest daughter of Jethro, the tribe's leader. She became Moses' second wife and mother to their son Gershom. Notably, she shared his devotion to the God of Abraham, unnamed by his followers. Yvonne de Carlo's journey to Hollywood began with trips to Los Angeles alongside her mother. In 1940, her beauty shone through, earning her second place in the Miss Venice pageant and a respectable fifth place in Miss California. A glimpse of her can be seen at the 36-second mark in British Pathé's film A Matter of Figures. At Miss Venice, a talent scout spotted her potential and encouraged her to audition for a spot in the chorus line at the renowned Earl Carroll Theater. By 1964, facing financial challenges, de Carlo signed a deal with Universal Studios to play the lead female role in The Munsters, opposite Fred Gwynne. Interestingly, she was also the producer's top choice for the iconic role of Lily Munster, originally named Phoebe, after Joan Marshall, the initial actress considered, was no longer in contention. De Carlo, embodying Hollywood glamour, was once asked how she'd portray the ghoulish matriarch of a haunted house. Her answer, simple. I just followed instructions. Play her like Donna Reed. At least once during The Munsters, de Carlo showcased her musical talents, singing and playing the harp in the episode Far Out Munsters. In 1950, de Carlo achieved her dream home, an 11-room ranch nestled on sprawling land in Studio City. With the help of an architect, she transformed the space, incorporating an English-style dining room with elegant paneling and stained glass windows. De Carlo's health took a turn in 1998 when she suffered a minor stroke. Later, she resided at the Motion Picture and Television Country House and Hospital, where she spent her final years. Sadly, she passed away in 2007 from heart failure. Anne Baxter as Nefertari. In the 1956 biblical epic, The Ten Commandments, Nefertari emerges as a complex character alongside Dathan. The Princess of Egypt, she develops a forbidden desire for the prince, Moses. Determined to be with him and see him on the throne, she takes drastic measures, even murder, to keep his Hebrew heritage a secret. Anne Baxter's career began with an audition for a role in Hitchcock's Rebecca at the young age of 16. While deemed too young for the part, her talent impressed, and she landed a long-term contract with 20th Century Fox. Her debut film came on loan to MGM, where she shared the screen with established actors. The 1940s saw Baxter flourish, collaborating with legends like John Barrymore and Jack Benny. Her talent was recognized with top billing in acclaimed movies like Swamp Water and The Pied Piper, the latter even receiving an Academy Award nomination. Fast forward to the 1970s, Baxter became a regular on The Mike Douglas Show and even played a villainous actress in an episode of Columbo. She also tackled a challenging role as an aging prostitute in Fool's Parade. Notably, she took over the role in the television series Hotel from the legendary Bette Davis after illness forced Davis to step down. Tragedy struck in 1985 when Baxter suffered a stroke. Despite life support, her family made the difficult decision to withdraw care after brain function ceased. She passed away at the age of 62. John Derek as Joshua. Joshua wasn't always John Derek, the Hollywood heartthrob. He began his journey as a slave, later discovered for his striking features. Talent agents like Henry Wilson, who even gave him the temporary stage name Dare Harris, and David O. Selznick saw his potential and offered him small roles in films like Since You Went Away and I'll Be Seeing You, both 1944. World War II called, and Joshua served in the U.S. Army in the Philippines. After the war, his career flourished. A film by Humphrey Bogart's company led to a 7-year contract with Columbia Pictures in 1948. He then landed a supporting role alongside Broderick Crawford in the Oscar-winning film All the King's Men, 1949. In 1950, he officially changed his name to John Derek. John and his wives envisioned a project titled Eve and That Damned Apple, but financing fell through. Instead, they made Bolero, 1984, with Cannon Films, an experience that left a sour taste. John's final directorial effort was Ghosts Can't Do It, 1990. Beyond directing, John was a skilled photographer, capturing nude portraits for Playboy magazine, featuring 3 of his 4 wives at different times. He even directed music videos for Shania Twain's hits Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under and Any Man of Mine. John survived a heart attack in 1986, but in 1998, cardiovascular disease tragically claimed his life at the age of 71 in Santa Maria, California. He left behind a legacy that included a granddaughter, Alice Derrick, and even became a great-grandfather in 1996. Edward G. Robinson as Dathan. Dathan, the other half of the villainous duo alongside Nefertari in the 1956 film The Ten Commandments, started his journey in servitude. This Israelite managed to gain the favor of the master builder Baka, becoming his trusted confidant. In 1915, Edward G. Robinson, the man who would bring Dathan to life, embarked on his acting career with a Broadway debut. He then transitioned to film in 1916. By 1923, he adopted the stage name E. G. Robinson and made his silent film debut in The Bright Shawl. His portrayal of a menacing gangster in the 1927 Broadway play The Racket set the stage for similar roles on the silver screen, starting with The Hole in the Wall, 1929, alongside Claudette Colbert. Robinson thrived in the transition to sound films, unlike many of his contemporaries. While his filmography boasted only 3 films before 1930, he dedicated himself fully to cinema that year, churning out 14 films between 1930 and 1932. On a personal note, Robinson married fellow stage actress Gladys Lloyd Cassell in 1927. Together, they had a son, Edward Jr., nicknamed Manny, and a daughter from Gladys's previous marriage. Their union ended in divorce in 1956. 2 years later, Robinson found love again, marrying dress designer Jane Arden. He spent his later years in Palm Springs, California. Sadly, E.G. Robinson passed away from bladder cancer in 1973, just weeks after completing his final film, Soylent Green. This heartbreaking event occurred months before he was to be honored with a Lifetime Achievement Academy Award. He was 79 years old. A memorial service was held at Temple Israel in Los Angeles, with Charlton Heston delivering a heartfelt eulogy. Over 1,500 mourners paid their respects, with hundreds more gathering outside. Nina Foch as Bithiah. Bithiah, the daughter of Pharaoh Rameses the Mace, was an Egyptian princess. A young widow with no children of her own, she defied tradition by adopting Moses, a Hebrew slave child, and raising him as royalty. However, her deception of her brother, Pharaoh Sethi, into believing Moses was Egyptian, led to her exile. Bithiah eventually joined the Hebrews during their exodus from Egypt. Nina Foch's journey to Hollywood began at 19 with a contract at Columbia Pictures. Her debut was a chilling horror film, The Return of the Vampire, alongside Bela Lugosi. She followed this with various roles, including a biographical drama, a thrilling mystery, and a string of film noirs. In one such film noir, Escape in the Fog, she played a woman with a premonition of her own kidnapping. Foch's career extended far beyond her early years. Notably, she was the first murder victim in the iconic Columbo series, starring alongside Gene Barry. The 1970s saw her grace the screens of shows like That Girl and The Brian Keith Show. In her later years, Foch remained active. She appeared in popular television series like Just Shoot Me, Dharma and Greg, and even NCIS, where she played the mother of the beloved Dr. Donald Ducky Mallard. She also took on roles in independent films and continued to share her knowledge as an instructor at USC. Additionally, she lent her expertise as a script breakdown consultant to Hollywood directors. Sadly, Nina Foch passed away in 2008 at the age of 84. Complications from a blood disorder claimed her life while she was still actively teaching at USC. Deborah Paget as Lilia. Lilia, a Hebrew forced into servitude, carried water as part of her daily duties. Born first among her siblings, she faced a harsh turn of fate. Dathan, a former Hebrew overseer who rose to governor of Goshen after Baka's death, claimed her as his concubine. However, she found love and freedom later, marrying Joshua, Moses' successor. Deborah Paget's acting career began at a young age. At just 14, she landed a notable role in the film Noir Cry of the City, playing the girlfriend of a much older character. This impressive debut caught the attention of 20th Century Fox, who signed her to a long-term contract. Early on, she took on smaller roles before landing a lead opposite James Stewart in the successful film Broken Arrow. Here, the 16-year-old Paget portrayed a Native American maiden who falls in love with Stewart's character, who was significantly older. Beyond film, Paget lent her voice to various radio programs, participating in original plays and readings alongside established actors. This period, from 1950 to 1956, saw her collaborate with names like Burt Lancaster and Tyrone Power. In 1962, Paget married Ling Si Kung, an executive in the oil industry, and stepped away from acting in 1964. Their union, which lasted until 1980, resulted in the birth of one son, Judith Anderson as Memnet. Memnet, a hereditary servant for generations, was a loyal Egyptian nurse during the reigns of pharaohs Rameses I and Sethi the. She served Bithiah and Nefertari, but disapproved of Moses' presence in the royal court. Judith Anderson's professional journey began in 1915 on the Australian stage under the name Francie Anderson. Playing Stephanie in A Royal Divorce, she honed her craft under the guidance of the respected actor Julius Knight. Together, they appeared in adaptations of classic plays like The Scarlet Pimpernel and The Three Musketeers. A pivotal moment came in 1947 with her triumphant portrayal of Medea in a daring adaptation by Robinson Jeffers. John Gielgud co-starred as Jason, and Anderson's performance earned her a Tony Award, the highest honor in American theater. The production enjoyed a successful run, followed by a national tour. Despite a less-than-stellar reception for her 1966 performance in Elizabeth the Queen, Anderson remained undeterred. In 1970, she fulfilled a long-held dream by tackling the iconic role of Hamlet on a national tour culminating at New York's Carnegie Hall. Anderson revisited the powerful drama Medea in 1982, this time taking on the role of the nurse alongside Zoe Caldwell as the title character. Their paths had crossed decades earlier on an Australian tour of the play. This performance garnered another Tony Award nomination. Anderson spent a significant portion of her life in Santa Barbara, California, where she sadly passed away from pneumonia in 1992 at the age of 94. Cedric Hardwicke as Sethi. Sethi, son of Pharaoh Rameses I and heir to the Egyptian throne, reigned before the exodus of the Hebrews. He succeeded his father and was married to Queen Tuya, with whom he had a son, Rameses II, who would follow him as pharaoh. Sethi's sister, Princess Bithiah, played a significant role during this era. Sir Cedric Hardwicke's acting career began on the London stage in 1912. He took over a role in a melodrama titled The Monk and the Woman, and that same year, he understudied at Her Majesty's Theatre. Early on, he appeared in various plays, including Find the Woman and Trust the People. In 1913, he joined a touring company that performed across various locations, including South Africa and Rhodesia. Television became a new avenue for Hardwicke's talents. He appeared in an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents in 1956 and guest-starred on The Ford Show in 1958. He even co-starred in a sitcom titled Mrs. G Goes to College, later renamed The Gertrude Berg Show, in 1961, though it only lasted one season. Hardwicke's voice brought characters to life on the radio as well. In 1945, he played Sherlock Holmes in a BBC radio dramatization, with his son Edward later taking on the role of Dr. Watson in a different production. Hardwicke also had a short-lived stint as the titular character in a revival of the Bulldog Drummond radio program in 1954. A heavy smoker throughout his life, Hardwicke succumbed to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease in 1964 at the age of 71. He left behind a legacy in both film and theater. John Carradine as Aaron. Aaron, a revered prophet and high priest, was the elder brother of Moses. Details about his life come solely from religious texts, including the Hebrew Bible, the New Testament, and the Quran. John Carradine's acting career began with Tollable David in 1930, though he claimed extensive experience before receiving on-screen credit. Interestingly, Carradine recounted auditioning for the iconic role of Dracula alongside established actors, but historical records don't support this. Ultimately, Bela Lugosi brought the character to life. However, Carradine did portray the Count himself in later Universal Studios films like House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula. Carradine's talents extended beyond live action. He lent his voice to the Great Owl in the animated film The Secret of NIMH and the Wizard in the English dub of Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. One of his final appearances was in Peggy Sue Got Married, 1986. His final credited film, Jacko, was released posthumously. Carradine's deep, captivating voice earned him the nickname The Voice. He also gained the moniker Bard of the Boulevard for his rumored habit of reciting Shakespearean monologues while strolling Hollywood streets, a claim he consistently denied. By the late 1980s, Carradine had largely retired from acting. He battled rheumatoid arthritis in his final years. Tragically, he passed away from heart and kidney failure in Milan, Italy in 1988 at the age of 82. Remarkably, just hours before his passing, He had climbed the 328 steps of the city's magnificent Duomo Cathedral. Martha Scott as Yochabel. Yochabel, a Hebrew slave of the Levi tribe born in Goshen, defied the odds. Marrying Amram, she became the mother of Miriam, Aaron, and the famed Moses. Facing a cruel decree by Pharaoh Rameses to kill all newborn Hebrew boys, Yochabel bravely placed the infant Moses in a basket on the river, with her daughter Miriam watching over him. This act of love led Moses to be found by Bithiah and raised as Egyptian royalty. Straight out of college, Martha Scott's career skyrocketed. She performed in a series of Shakespearean plays with the Globe Theater Troupe at the 1934 Chicago World's Fair. Following this success, she moved to New York City, where she thrived in both stage productions and radio dramas. In 1938, she made a grand Broadway debut as Emily Webb, a tragic young woman, in the original staging of Thornton Wilder's Our Town. Scott married twice. Her first marriage was to radio personality Carlton William Alsop, 1940-1946, followed by a union with jazz musician Mel Powell, 1946-1998. She had a son, Carlton Scott Alsop, with her first husband and two daughters, Mary Powell Harpel and Kathleen Powell, with her second. Interestingly, her son revealed that Scott used a childhood memory of a serene cemetery in her hometown to portray her Oscar-nominated character in Our Town. This imagery, he explained, helped her embody the characters in the play. Martha Scott passed away peacefully from natural causes in 2003 at the age of 90. Vincent Price as Baka. Baka, a master architect who flourished under Pharaoh Sethi, oversaw the construction of the pharaoh's opulent treasure city. Vincent Price, a builder of characters on the silver screen, started his film career bringing diverse roles to life. He debuted in Service Deluxe, 1938, and rose to prominence opposite Gene Tierney in Otto Preminger's Laura, 1944. Price's talent shone through in historical portrayals like Joseph Smith and William Gibbs McAdoo. He also tackled complex characters such as a prosecutor in The Song of Bernadette, 1943, and a haughty priest in The Keys of the Kingdom, 1944. Beyond film, he captivated radio audiences, voicing the crime-fighting Simon Templar in The Saint from 1947 to 1951. The 1950s saw Price embrace the thrills of horror. He took the lead in the groundbreaking 3D film House of Wax, 1953, a box office smash. This chilling performance paved the way for others in The Mad Magician, 1954, the monster movie The Fly, 1958, and its sequel Return of the Fly, 1959. In 1990, Price lent his voice to the Phantom Manor attraction at Disneyland Paris. However, the original narration was later replaced with a French version. Interestingly, Price's iconic laugh remained. A 2018 renovation saw parts of Price's narration restored, creating a bilingual experience that blends his original work with previously unused material. Olive Deering as Miriam. Miriam, a courageous midwife and former slave, played a pivotal role during the Exodus. The eldest child of Amram and Yochabel, she was the older sister of both Aaron and Moses. Decades later, actresses Kay Deering and Beverly Ryder found success as a performing duo. In 1940, they co-starred in Medicine Show on Broadway. Their talents continued to shine in 1980 when they appeared in Tennessee Williams' The Two-Character Play at the Harold Clurman Theater. Interestingly, despite living nearby, Williams himself did not attend the production, though Deering received critical acclaim for her performance. Deering's career extended beyond the stage. She graced numerous radio programs like Lone Journey, True Story, and Against the Storm, additionally appearing in over 200 television shows. One notable television role included Desdemona in the Philco Summer Playhouse production of Othello. Early television appearances for Deering included co-starring in episodes of Somerset Maugham TV Theater and Suspense. Later, she landed a supporting role in the science fiction series The Outer Limits and appeared in an episode of The Alfred Hitchcock Hour. Deering was married to film director Leo Penn for a time before their divorce. A vocal Democrat, she actively supported Adlai Stevenson's presidential campaign in 1952. Sadly, she passed away from cancer at the age of 67. Henry Wilcoxon as Pentaur. After his schooling, Henry Wilcoxon found himself working for Joseph Rank, a businessman whose son would later become J. Arthur Rank of film fame. Next, Wilcoxon transitioned to tailoring before applying for a visa to become a chauffeur in the United States. Denied the visa, he took a detour into boxing before ultimately landing on the path of acting. Wilcoxon's first foray onto the stage came in a 1927 adaptation of The 100th Chance. The next year, he joined the Birmingham Repertory Theatre, where he spent several years honing his craft by taking on a variety of roles. Critical acclaim followed when he portrayed Captain Cook in a London production of The Barretts of Wimpole Street. He continued to impress audiences in other plays, including Evensong, where he shared the stage with renowned actress Edith Evans. Years later, a fellow actor praised Wilcoxon's professionalism, calling him a great pro who consistently delivered exceptional performances. Wilcoxon himself credited a book titled The Art of Dramatic Writing as a major influence on his career. Beyond acting, Wilcoxon had a passion for painting, photography, and collecting antiques. He was also an accomplished pilot. In a surprising turn of events, he met his niece Valerie much later in life, learning she was the daughter of his brother, whom he previously believed to be childless. Sadly, after a battle with cancer, Henry Wilcoxon passed away in Los Angeles in 1984 at the age of 78. Yul Brynner as Rameses. The 1956 biblical epic The Ten Commandments features Ramses II, a ruthless pharaoh who enslaves the Hebrews. Played by the late Yul Brynner, this character becomes the antagonist against his adopted brother, Moses. Brynner's life journey began in 1927 when his mother, Marusi Brynner, emigrated with her children, Yul and Vera, from Vladivostok to Harbin, China. There, the young Brynner attended a YMCA school and received a pivotal birthday gift from his father, an acoustic guitar. This present, along with music lessons, sparked a lifelong passion for music in Yul. Driven by curiosity and a creative spirit, Brynner diligently practiced guitar and delved into classical and contemporary music. He even received guidance from his sister Vera, an accomplished opera singer. Years of dedicated study transformed Brynner into a skilled guitarist and vocalist. After Night Flight from Moscow, 1973, Brynner established another iconic role in the cult classic Westworld, 1973. He embodied the chilling character of the gunslinger, a robotic killer. This performance echoed in his next two films, The Ultimate Warrior, 1975, and Future World, 1976. He attempted a Broadway comeback with Home Sweet Homer, but the musical proved unsuccessful. His final film appearance was in the Italian action film Death Rage, 1976. Facing his mortality from lung cancer, Brynner partnered with the American Cancer Society to create a powerful public service announcement. The ad, featuring a clip from his Good Morning America interview, premiered on major U.S. and international networks shortly after his death. In the announcement, Brynner expressed his regret about smoking and the importance of anti-smoking messaging. Yul Brynner passed away from lung cancer in New York Hospital in 1985 at the age of 65. We've time-traveled to witness the Ten Commandments cast in their golden age, a true treat. While we can't bring them back, their performances in this epic film will continue to inspire audiences for generations to come. If you enjoyed this exploration, let us know in the comments. Which classic film's cast would you love to see featured next? Thanks for joining us on this journey through cinema history. See you next time.